There comes a point in nearly every woman's life, usually sometime after 40, when she sits down, exhales deeply, and wonders how she became the person everyone relies on. But almost no one truly considers. Maybe you know that feeling. You wake up already tired, not just physically, but tired in your bones, tired in your spirit, tired from all the things you agreed to yesterday, last week, last year, things you didn't even want to do but said yes to anyway because that's what women are taught to do. And somewhere between the errands, the favors, the emotional support, the invisible labor, the last-minute tasks, the requests that interrupted your own plans, you realized something quietly heartbreaking. You've forgotten what it feels like to prioritize yourself. Women over 40 carry a lifetime of yeses. Yes, I can take care of that. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, I'll fix it. Yes, it's okay. Don't worry about me. And sometimes the yes leaves your mouth faster than you can even think. It's automatic, conditioned, trained, expected. Because since girlhood, you were praised for being helpful, polite, accommodating, flexible, easygoing, the one who doesn't make a fuss, the one who shows up no matter what. But at some point, often right around midlife, that praise starts feeling more like a trap. You start noticing the quiet resentment building in your chest. You start feeling invisible. You start realizing how many people benefit from your yes, and how few people ever pause to ask if you're okay. And maybe you've wondered, why is it so hard for me to say no? Why do I feel guilty for choosing myself? Why do I feel like I owe the world every piece of my time? Why does no feel selfish when yes is slowly draining me? If you've asked yourself these questions, you're not alone. Women in their 40s, 50s, 60s come to this awakening all the time. You simply get to a point, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, where you realize your time is not infinite, your energy is not renewable, your peace is not negotiable, your life is not a community project. This video, this conversation, is here to walk you gently into a new era, an era where no isn't rude, where no isn't selfish, where no isn't a rejection, where no is an act of self-love, self-respect, and self-protection. You're not here to carry every burden. You're not here to please everyone. You're not here to save people who never save you. You're allowed to choose yourself without apology. So get comfortable, take a breath. Let this moment be yours. This is your safe space to finally learn the power of the word you were never taught to use. Today, we begin reclaiming your no. Before we talk about the power of no, we have to talk about the quiet, heavy, exhausting weight of every yes you've given over the past few decades. Because that weight didn't appear overnight. It built itself slowly, layer by layer, until one day you woke up buried underneath it. For many women, saying yes became a survival skill long before adulthood. As girls, we learned that being agreeable made life smoother, that being helpful made us lovable, that being accommodating earned us praise. And as we grew into women, that lesson only deepened. You said yes to avoid conflict, yes to avoid disappointing anyone, yes because it felt easier than explaining, yes because the guilt of no felt unbearable. Yes, because people expected you to be the reliable one, and you didn't want to let them down. Over time, those yeses didn't just fill your schedule, they filled your identity. You became the woman who fixes everything, the one people lean on, the one who rearranges her plans because someone else is struggling, the one who cancels her rest because someone else needs her. the one who absorbs stress like a sponge while pretending everything is fine. And yes, there is beauty in being supportive. Yes, compassion is one of your strengths. But when yes becomes your default response, something dangerous happens. You start disappearing from your own life. You stop protecting your time, your needs, your boundaries. You stop noticing what you want. You stop hearing your own inner voice beneath the noise of everyone else's expectations. The worst part? Most women don't even realize the toll until their body and spirit begin to protest. You start feeling resentful after agreeing to things you never wanted. You start feeling anxious when your phone buzzes. You start feeling exhausted in a way sleep can't fix. You start losing pieces of yourself, dreams, hobbies, joy, because everything gets squeezed out by responsibilities you never wanted in the first place. You give and give and give until there's almost nothing left. And society? It tells you that this is what being a good woman looks like. But here's the truth you've probably never been told. Every unnecessary yes steals a moment from your own life. It steals time you could have spent resting, time you could have spent healing, time you could have spent rebuilding your confidence, time you could have spent doing something that nourishes you instead of depleting you. And the resentment you feel, that's not you being unkind. That's your soul trying to get your attention. It's the whisper inside you saying, I can't live like this anymore. This chapter of your life, the chapter after 40, is when that whisper becomes impossible to ignore. You start to feel the misalignment. You start to realize you've outgrown the role of being everyone's yes woman. You begin to crave space, crave peace, crave autonomy, crave a life that feels like yours again. The truth is, your yes has value. Your yes has weight. Your yes has consequences. And the woman you are now, wiser, stronger, more self-aware, deserves to give that yes only when it truly feels aligned. You're not here to be everything to everyone. You're here to finally become someone to yourself. If Chapter 1 was about recognizing the invisible weight of yes, this chapter is about reclaiming the word you've been taught to fear, no, and not a harsh, defensive, guilty no, but the kind that feels like truth, the kind that feels like finally exhaling, the kind that feels like coming home to yourself. Because here's something most women don't learn until after 40. No is not rejection. No is alignment. For decades, you were conditioned, quietly, subtly, sometimes aggressively, to believe that being agreeable was the same as being kind, that being accommodating was the same as being loving, that being helpful, available, flexible, selfless was the same as being a good woman. And maybe you believed that. Most of us did. But at this age, after everything you've lived, given, carried, and survived, you start to see the truth. You can be a deeply kind woman and still say no. You can be loving and still protect your energy. You can be supportive and still choose your own well-being first. Women over 40 have a unique challenge. They're often the backbone of everyone else's life. To step back, to say not today, or I can't, or that doesn't work for me, feels almost unnatural at first. It feels like you're breaking a rule nobody wrote down, but everyone expects you to follow. But midlife also gives you a gift: clarity, perspective, the ability to see that the expectations placed on you were never realistic. And honestly, they were never fair. You begin noticing the moments when your spirit whispers, no, even while your mouth says, yes. the internal resistance, the frustration, the exhaustion afterward, the resentment that grows in the cracks of every forced yes. And that's when it hits you. Your body has been telling the truth long before your voice ever learned to. No is not a door closing. It's a door opening to space, to peace, to self-respect, to a life that actually feels like yours. Because every time you say no to something that drains you, you make room for something that nourishes you. Every time you turn down something misaligned, you turn towards something meaningful. Every time you choose yourself, you send a quiet message to the universe that says, I matter too. And here's the part that surprises most women. People start treating you differently when you start saying no, not worse, better. Your boundaries teach people how to value you. Your honesty teaches people how to respect you. Your clarity teaches people how to show up for you. You're not becoming difficult. You're becoming whole. You're becoming a woman who no longer lives on auto-agree. No is not a weapon. No is not a wall. No is not the end of connection. No is the beginning of truth, your truth. And once you unlock the power of that truth, everything in your life starts to shift. Now that you've started to understand the power behind no, it's time to talk about something most women never learned: how to actually say it. Because knowing you should set boundaries is one thing, feeling empowered to do it without guilt flooding your body is another. Women over 40 often tell me, I want to say no. I just never know how to say it without sounding rude or making someone upset. And that's because for so many years, you were trained to prioritize emotional comfort, everyone else's. You learned to cushion your needs, soften your requests, hide your limits, and play small to keep the peace. So when you finally try to say no, it feels foreign. It feels like you're breaking character. You can hear your own voice trembling, apologizing, explaining, over-justifying. But here's the truth. A boundary doesn't require a backstory. A no doesn't need a paragraph. Your limits don't need a justification to be valid. A confident no is less about the words. You actually say fewer words, and more about the energy behind them. And here's where it helps to get specific, because women often don't realize how many forms no can take. It's not always dramatic. It's not always confrontational. Sometimes it's calm, simple, even kind. There is the soft no, the one that gently declines without shutting someone out. That doesn't work for me, but thank you for thinking of me. I'd love to, but I need to pass this time. Soft, warm, clear. Then there's the firm no, the one you use when someone pushes past your comfort, your time, or your peace. No, I won't be able to do that. No, that's not something I can take on. No justification, no apology, just clarity. And then there's the silent no, one women underestimate. The text you don't answer immediately, the favor you don't accept automatically, the instinct you don't override. Sometimes the boundary is simply the pause before responding, the breath you take, the moment you check in with yourself first. Do I actually want to do this? Or do I feel obligated? That pause alone can change your life. The part that scares women most is the pushback, the guilt-tripping coworker, the disappointed friend, the family member who isn't used to you having limits. And yes, some people will react, not because you're wrong, but because your yes benefited them. But listen closely. Their disappointment is not your responsibility. Your peace is. When people push back, your job is not to negotiate your worth. Your job is to hold the line you set, to breathe, to remember why you set it, to remind yourself that your needs are not unreasonable, they're human. Over time, something remarkable happens. Your no becomes easier. Your guilt shrinks. Your confidence grows. People stop expecting you to be endlessly available. They start respecting the boundaries you've always deserved. And most importantly, you start respecting yourself. Crafting a confident no isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. It's not about rejecting others. It's about choosing yourself. It's not about being selfish. It's about being whole. This chapter of your life, the boundary-setting chapter, is not about cutting people out. It's about letting yourself in. Your no is not a weakness. Your no is not a loss. Your no is a declaration. My life belongs to me now. Something powerful happens the moment a woman over 40 begins saying no with intention. At first, it feels uncomfortable, almost like you're doing something wrong. You might feel guilty, anxious, or even worried about how someone else will react. But then something else begins to unfold. Something subtle, but life-changing. Your energy shifts. Because when you stop handing out automatic yeses, you stop scattering yourself in 1,000 directions. You stop being the default helper, the fixer, the emotional cushion, the strong one who absorbs everyone else's chaos. And suddenly, you notice something you may not have felt in years. Space, room to breathe, to think, to rest, to reconnect with yourself. Women often underestimate how deeply a lack of boundaries drains them. It's not just exhaustion, it's emotional erosion. Every unnecessary yes chips away at your time, your peace, your identity. Every avoided no reinforces the idea that everyone else's needs matter more than yours. But once you begin honoring your limits, something profound clicks inside you. You realize you were never meant to be everything to everyone. You realize the world doesn't collapse when you say no. You realize people adjust more quickly than you expected. One of the most surprising ripple effects? Your relationships improve, not the toxic ones. Those often fade, as they should, but the healthy ones grow deeper. Because boundaries reveal who truly respects you. The people who love you don't want a version of you that's exhausted, drained, resentful, or overwhelmed. They want you present. They want you whole. They want you honest. Many women describe this moment as a massive internal shift, like stepping back into their own skin after being stretched too thin for too long. You start noticing you have more patience, more emotional clarity, more joy. You're less reactive, less resentful. You're able to give from a place of choice rather than obligation. And there's another beautiful ripple. Your self-respect grows. Saying no is an act of loyalty to yourself. It's a signal that your needs matter, that your time is valuable, that your emotional landscape deserves protection. And the more you honor those truths, the more confident you become in every other area of your life. You also become a powerful example to the women around you, your daughters, your friends, your coworkers. So many women struggle silently with boundaries because they never saw them modeled. But when you choose yourself, you silently give others permission to choose themselves too. And here's the best part. Once boundaries become part of your daily life, peace becomes your new default. Not the kind of peace that comes from avoiding conflict, but the real, grounded peace that comes from alignment, from choosing what serves you, from no longer abandoning yourself to keep everyone else comfortable. This is the ripple effect. More energy, more clarity, more confidence, more genuine connection, and a life that finally feels like it belongs to you. Stepping into your 40s, 50s, or 60s with a clear understanding of your boundaries is like stepping into a new version of yourself, one who is wiser, calmer, and more rooted in her own worth. But the question becomes, how do you carry this forward? How do you make the power of no not just a moment, but a lifestyle? The answer begins with something beautifully simple: consistency. You don't need to transform your entire life overnight. You don't need to suddenly become a boundary-setting expert. You just need to start making small, intentional choices each day that support the woman you're becoming. Maybe that means saying no to a social event you know will drain you. Maybe it means refusing to answer work messages after hours. Maybe it means telling a family member, gently but firmly, that you cannot take on their emotional load today. Maybe it means carving out 1 hour just for yourself, without guilt, without apology. Each time you choose yourself, your future expands. You become more grounded, more self-assured, more in tune with what feels right for your life. And you begin to notice something important. Your no isn't just about declining requests. It's about making room for your real life, for the joy you've delayed, for the rest you've postponed, for the dreams you've buried under responsibility, for the version of yourself you haven't had the time or energy to meet yet. This chapter of your life isn't about shrinking. It's about reclaiming your time, reclaiming your voice, reclaiming your inner world, reclaiming your right to exist without over-explaining or over-giving. The more boundaries you set, the more aligned your life becomes. You naturally begin choosing relationships that nourish you, work that respects you, routines that support you, a pace of life that feels human. And yes, there will be moments when old habits tug at you, when guilt tries to creep back in, when the expectations you've carried for decades whisper that you should be doing more, giving more, sacrificing more. But now you know better. You know that guilt is often just conditioning in disguise. You know that peace is not selfish. You know that you cannot pour from an empty well. And you know that the world does not benefit from a version of you that is burned out and depleted. It benefits from a version of you that is whole. Your empowered future is not about becoming someone new. It's about finally coming home to yourself. It's about making decisions that honor your needs rather than betray them. It's about recognizing that your boundaries aren't walls, they're doors that open toward the life you actually want. And as you move forward into this next chapter, remember this: you are not learning how to say no to others. You are learning how to say yes to yourself. Every boundary you set is a step toward the life you deserve, a life defined not by pressure, but by peace, not by obligation, but by authenticity, not by exhaustion, but by empowerment. Your future is no longer dictated by other people's expectations. It's shaped by your choices, your voice, and your newfound freedom. This is your empowered future, and it's just beginning. Before we end this conversation, I want you to take a moment and really acknowledge the woman you are becoming, because listening to a video like this, a video about boundaries, about no, about reclaiming your power, isn't something most women do casually. If you're here, It means something inside you is shifting. Something inside you is waking up and saying, I deserve better. I deserve peace. I deserve to stop living my life for everyone but myself. And that realization is everything. Women over 40 know what it means to carry a life on their backs. You've carried children, partners, families, workplaces, aging parents, responsibilities no one even sees, emotional loads no one ever thanked you for. You've been the glue, the peacekeeper, the helper, the steady one, sometimes by choice, but often by necessity. And because of that, saying no has never been simple. It has felt like a risk, a rejection, a break in the role you were assigned decades ago. But here's what I want to tell you gently, lovingly, clearly. You do not exist to be available to everyone. You do not exist to be endlessly agreeable. You do not exist to soften every edge or smooth every moment or rescue every situation. You exist to live your life, your real life, not the one that others have scripted for you. And if no one has told you this yet, let me tell you now, setting boundaries is not selfish. Saying no is not rude. Protecting your energy is not dramatic. Prioritizing your peace is not overreacting. It's maturity, it's wisdom, it's self-respect, it's healing, it's love. Love for yourself. In this stage of your life, you're not just learning how to say no. You're learning how to unlearn everything that made no feel dangerous. You're unlearning the old voice that said, be good, be nice, don't upset anyone, don't make things difficult. You're replacing it with a new voice, one that feels like truth. My feelings matter, my time matters, my needs matter, I matter. And here's something beautiful that happens when you begin living with boundaries. Your relationships become healthier, your time becomes clearer, your mind becomes calmer, your choices become truer, your life becomes lighter. People who love you will adjust. People who don't, were never investing in you, only in your compliance. And that realization, as painful as it can be, sets you free. Because once your boundaries become part of your life, something shifts in your spirit. You start trusting yourself again. You start listening to your intuition again. You start choosing with intention instead of guilt. You start reclaiming pieces of yourself you didn't even know you lost. And the woman you become on the other side of this, she stands taller. She feels clearer. She moves with confidence instead of obligation. She loves herself without apology. She says, yes, only when she truly means it. And her whole life begins to reflect that authenticity. This is not the end of your journey with boundaries. This is the beginning of a life that actually aligns with who you are now, not who you were taught to be. So as we close this conversation, I want to leave you with this. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to set limits. You are allowed to say no, even when others want yes. You are allowed to choose yourself, not last, not rarely, but regularly. Your power is not loud. It is steady. It is calm. It is clear. It is yours. And your future, the one you are creating with every boundary you set, is going to be more peaceful, more intentional, more honest, and more yours than anything you've lived before. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for choosing yourself today. Even in this small way, you are stronger than you know, and you're not doing this alone. I'm right here with you. This whole community is with you. Welcome to your empowered life, the life you're finally allowing yourself to live.